Hi everyone, my name is Ainsley Phillips and this is my video on social judgment theory. By now you all should have read just a little bit about social judgment theory and have learned a little bit about it from our class discussion. For those of you that don't know, social judgment theory is defined as the perception and evaluation of an idea by comparing it with current attitudes. This theory was defined by Carolyn Sheriff, Muzaffar Sheriff, and Carl Hovland in the mid-1960s. Social judgment theory is a little bit of the explanation about why we make the judgments that we make and how we've come to form these things. Social judgment theory is made up of three latitudes: the latitude of acceptance, the latitude of rejection, and the latitude of non-commitment, as well as your degree of ego involvement. Now, ego involvement is how we measure how much an issue actually matters to us. If you have a high degree of ego involvement, then that means that it's an issue that you care about a lot on either side. If you have a low degree of ego involvement, then it's something that you may not care that much about. And that could lead to a wider latitude of acceptance or a latitude of non-commitment. Someone who feels really strongly about an issue is going to have a wider latitude of rejection. Now, this is really good information to know, especially if you're going to use something like this in the marketing field. The point of social judgment theory is to be able to read an audience and to be able to cater your message to something that's going to affect them the most without falling in their latitude of rejection. It's important that your message falls within their latitude of non-commitment or their latitude of acceptance while remaining most discrepant from the message that they already believe. The text contains a really good example of explaining the three latitudes of attitude. It's a series of 11 statements, and it has you do different things like underline, circle, or cross out statements that you agree with or don't disagree with, or whichever one you think is the best fit for the situation. If you haven't done this activity yet, I would really recommend it because it makes understanding social judgment theory a lot easier. The activity in the text explains our latitude of acceptance, latitude of rejection, latitude of non-commitment, and our anchor position. Now, if you're using this for anything from marketing to a PR campaign or just to simply persuade someone in conversation, it's important to know their anchor position because that's the thing that you're going to try to sway them from believing. So you want to make sure that whatever message you're giving is going to fall within their latitude of acceptance, but it's going to be as discrepant as possible from their anchor message, or they're not going to accept it. If you push too hard and it falls within their latitude of rejection, then that's known as the boomerang theory, and that's going to make your message not successful. Social judgment theory is really important for communicators because it allows us to quickly understand how others are feeling and to be able to craft our message in a way that's going to be most effective for them. Every day we make subconscious decisions about whether we like something or dislike it, don't really care about it, or anything like that. Whether it's a post that you're going to like or not like on Facebook, like Dr. Humphrey showed us in his example, or if it's a person that you're just going to walk past on the street. Now, oftentimes you'll sit around and overhear someone make a statement, and maybe you'll roll your eyes and think, oh, that's so absurd, or you'll think, wow, that person's really right. And that's because that message that they're giving either falls within your latitude of rejection or your latitude of acceptance. Now, if it's something that falls so far in your latitude of rejection, it's something that you're going to find absolutely absurd. A study was done that gave students research on the amount of sleep that was required by humans each night. Now, the more research that they were given, the expert changed. So it went from, say, a Nobel Prize winner to a YMCA director as the sleep went down. Once students got the information that said that 0 hours of sleep per night were required, they knew that that was so far-fetched that it automatically fell within their latitude of rejection and they would not accept it as a possible answer. This is an example of how if a message is pushed so far into your latitude of rejection that it's going to be ineffective. One really great example of the use of social judgment theory was when a group of researchers at Michigan State University took social judgment theory and compared it against social norms of the amount of drinks consumed by students when they went out to party. Now, they used the research that they found in social judgment theory to create a message that fell within the latitude of non-commitment for the students on campus. Now, what they did was design a message that said that students actually consumed one less drink than they had originally reported, and they spread that message all over campus for about 3 months. This 3-month message changed the perception of students, and it lowered them to believe that students actually drank one less drink, and students actually reported drinking one less drink than they did in the semesters beforehand. Now, this was really effective because they chose to design the message within the latitude of non-commitment as opposed to someone's latitude of acceptance or latitude of rejection. Because of the choice to use the latitude of non-commitment, it didn't run the risk of falling in either side of the issue's latitude of rejection or acceptance, and it did not cause the boomerang effect. Just like the researchers at Michigan State University, you could also use social judgment theory to design a message that would be most effective for your clients and consumers. When developing your message, make sure that it falls within the latitude of non-commitment to avoid the boomerang effect and to make sure that your listeners are getting a message that's most discrepant from their anchor statement without falling in their latitude of rejection. Now, Sheriff and Sheriff both agreed that social judgment theory was not a guarantee, but could be used quickly as a prediction of what's going on inside of the brain when us as humans make social judgments. This can be used to help you quickly craft an effective message that's going to get your point across without driving the listener in the opposite direction. This cannot be used as an exact science, but can be used as a prediction. Persuasion is more than just a one-time thing. For it to be effective, it usually takes more than one shot to get your message across. The same goes to show with social judgment theory. Social judgment theory is best effective when you only have one chance to change a person's mind. Now, of course, it would be more effective if you have the opportunity to gain the knowledge of how your listener feels before your message is crafted and given to them. Next time you find yourself in a situation where you need to deliver a message that needs to persuade someone, try looking back on social judgment theory. Try to figure out where you think their anchor position would be, where you think their latitude of rejection falls based on their ego involvement, and craft your message to fall within their latitude of non-commitment to see if that makes your message more effective.